I think we're all noticing that the economy is tanking, the stock market is dropping like a rock, the GDP is shrinking, and Donald Trump understands this doesn't make him look good. So Donald Trump does exactly what Donald Trump does. He blames somebody else. In this case, he decides to blame former President Joe Biden. But honestly, Joe Biden is little more than a private citizen at this point. I don't know how Joe Biden could have caused these things to happen, but still, Donald Trump will suggest that. Prior to Joe Biden leaving office, the economy was good. And Donald Trump said, well, that's because of me. That's because they know I'm going to get elected. Immediately after he's installed as president and the economy goes to shit, no, that's Joe Biden's economy. Well, let me explain to you how this all went down, and then you decide who's at fault for this economy. Back in Donald Trump's first term, toward the end, his economy went to shit. And people will say, well, that was because of COVID, not Trump's fault. I beg to differ. Donald Trump couldn't have stopped a pandemic, but he could have done what every other president in history might have done and do something about the pandemic. He said it was a hoax. He said it would go away. He ignored it. And because he ignored it, the pandemic and the effects on this country got worse and worse. 1 million people died. Businesses were shut down. Businesses went bankrupt, all because Donald Trump didn't want to be embarrassed by this pandemic. So when Joe Biden took over after Donald Trump left office, he was left with a steaming pile of shit. But from the moment Joe Biden took over, he started to repair the supply chain and the economy, and it steadily improved. The stock market went up, the economy was better, more jobs were placed. This all happened under Joe Biden, and it went like that for 4 years. Now, after Joe Biden left office, the stock market, the Dow Jones, hit its highest point of 45,000 points. Now, keep in mind, Donald Trump, when he left, it was 30,000 points. So Joe Biden increased it by 15,000 points in 4 years. Quite impressive. And it hit its highest mark in February, just after Joe Biden left. Well, then Donald Trump takes over and the economy takes a shit. Donald Trump says it's Biden's fault, but we all know it's about the tariffs, and the tariffs are all about Donald Trump. Donald Trump can say what he wants, but the economy sucks now, and it will continue to suck because of Donald Trump. He cannot deny it. He can't divert from it. He can't distract from it. It is what it is. Democrats know it. And even a lot of Republicans are going, no, Donnie, that's silly. You did this. You did this. So next time you hear Donald Trump suggest that Joe Biden is at fault, remind the people telling you this that Joe Biden's sitting in a rocking chair in fucking Delaware right now. He's not doing anything with the economy. The President of the United States is responsible, and that motherfucker, unfortunately, is Donald motherfucking Trump.
Trump's own administration is trying to sabotage him, as multiple team members have leaked to the press that they are personally stockpiling products to get ahead of the empty shelves that are coming because of Trump's tariffs. Now, this story comes to us from Rolling Stones, who reports this. 2 Trump administration officials and a Trump aide tell Rolling Stone that they have done some stockpiling of their own in recent weeks and months. And they know of Republican members that are doing the same thing: toilet paper, food, and other goods. Think about that for a moment. Trump's own administration has been stockpiling for months now. They've been trying to get ahead of this, and it's so bad, they felt the need to leak that to the press, to let the American people know, because they know Trump isn't going to tell us themselves. And somebody's head is going to roll for this. Somebody behind the scenes, Donald Trump, is going to want to find out who exactly is leaking this to the press, because this is the worst thing that could happen, that the country now knows, that even the Trump administration sees the pain that is coming. This is huge.
More tariffs on China are coming, so the trade war is going to escalate. Yes. Not de-escalate, escalate. And here's why. All purchases of Iranian oil or petrochemical products must stop now. Any country or person who buys any amount of oil or petrochemicals from Iran will be subject to immediately secondary sanctions. They will not be allowed to do business with the United States in any way, shape, or form. Who buys the vast majority of Iranian oil? Yes, that would be China. China. Yes, yes. And yes, this comes just hours after Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, basically told China on X, of all places, hey, we're going to attack you. Yeah. Yeah. But hey, he didn't give them, any details. This isn't a signal chat thing. This is just an X thing. So this is different. And of course, all of this has led to this jump in oil prices today. Not a significant jump. There was heavy losses overnight. And oil's still pretty low. But, yeah. So there's a couple of scenarios playing out here. First of all, China's not going to stop buying oil from Iran. Not anytime soon. No. So this is just basically another roadblock in the path to settling all this with China. Because with the tariffs we already have on them, that trade is pretty much gone anyway. So secondary sanctions won't mean much, not to China. So there's nothing about this that encourages China to do anything with Iranian oil. Just not, because we're already stopping buying their stuff. And I'm sure the Trump administration thinks that this gives us some type of leverage over China. It doesn't. We've already played our cards. We've already played our hand. This results in nothing. We're already not buying their products. There's no leverage here. My question is this another manipulation type thing? Because we're literally tanking the economy while saying we're going to attack Iran. Tanking the economy has driven down oil prices. Attacking Iran will make them skyrocket, which in many ways would compound the effects of the crashing economy, right? Yeah. So we're crashing the economy because he wants everything to be cheaper. And he also wants to drill, baby, drill, which can't happen unless oil is more expensive. I think this is a manipulation thing, because if we attack Iran, yeah, we will definitely drill more. And that's a big thing to Donald Trump, because you will see oil prices go north of $100 a barrel if we attack Iran. But wait a minute. There's no lowering gas prices if that happens. This is so confusing. Striking Iran would likely precipitate in the largest war in our lifetimes. Likely? Yeah. There is no scenario where they don't retaliate, especially in many places across the Middle East. Yeah, this would turn into a large conflict. I guess we'll see what happens, huh? Yeah. Thanks.
A lot of people were reporting yesterday about Mike Walls being let go. And it turns out that it's a little bit more complicated than just a scapegoat for Signalgate. It turns out that Mike Walls actually had a lot of conflict with Trump when it came to how he was dealing with Russia. Mike Walls wanted to implement sanctions, more deep sanctions, and he wanted to be more aggressive in getting Russia to back off Ukraine. And now Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, is taking over Mike Walls' position because his views more align with Trump, or at least that's what he says in public to keep his job. Now, Marco Rubio is also working as the head of USAID and the National Archives. That's quite a lot of hats for someone to wear when we are in the middle of war negotiations. And I'm sure Elise Stefanik is upset because they gave Mike Walls the position at the UN that they had originally promised to her, but then sent her back down to the House of Representatives. So that's what happens when you get yourself too close to the white supremacy. The patriarchy gets you in the end.
So I wanted to read to you a message I got from a friend of mine who lives just outside of Miami, and she's a massage therapist, but she services a very wealthy clientele. And this is what she told me. She said, "I've heard from my wealthy clients in Miami that all of the people, his friends that voted for him, are pissed," meaning Trump, "and backing him into a corner to stop this tariff BS because several of them have to shut down their businesses. It's definitely not making things great. Even the CEO of Walmart, Trump's good buddy, is telling him to back down, from what I've heard at least, because with tariffs, Walmart won't have anything on its shelves. It would take years to open factories in the U.S., and companies don't want to pay the U.S. labor. So I think Trump is going to back down. This shouldn't surprise anybody, but what I just wanted to add a whole nother way to look at this, that here are predominantly white, wealthy individuals who are upset because it's affecting them personally. And I was watching the cringeworthy press conference by Steve Miller saying, American children are going to start going to public schools, and they're going to be raised to love America. And what does that mean exactly? Because these wealthy white Christian nationalists are not wanting to create an America that our children can grow up loving. They're creating a whitewashed America with classism, where only the wealthy are thriving. I mean, this says it all. They're not wanting to create an America where it's centered on the working class, where the working class receives the majority of the benefits, or substantial benefits anyway. Just the wealthy, predominantly white class. Yeah, this is just crazy. I don't know. I don't know if this guy, while he was getting massage, wanted my friend to like have sympathy for them. I don't know. If I were the one providing the massage services, I would have like squeezed him in a few places to be on accident and say, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry about that.
Listen, I hardly ever put my Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs hat on, my tinfoil hat, if you will. But I was reading an executive order tonight, and I just had a thought. So I think I'm going to share it with you, even though, again, this is a tinfoil hat theory. And you guys let me know what you think in the comments, because now that I've thought of it, I don't know that I'm going to be able to sleep until I let it off my chest. So this was the executive order I was reading when I thought of this. This is from today, May 1st, 2025, and it is called the Establishment of the Religious Liberty Commission. I'm not here to do a deep dive on this. I encourage you to go read it, or if you'd like a deep dive, I can do that. But basically what this does is it allows Christianity to be pushed into both the public and private sector, yada, 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 white Christian nationalism, okay? Oh, and they're going to do that under the guise of like religious freedom. But this is where I was like, light bulb, let me put my tinfoil hat on. It says that the members of this committee shall serve one term, and that term will end on July 4th, 2026, which marks the 250th anniversary of the American independence, as we know. And when I saw that, my brain triggered me to go back to this executive order called Celebrating America's 250th Birthday, which was signed shortly after Trump's inauguration, January 29th, 2025. The text here that's highlighted might be cut off on the top, but it does say establishing the White House Task Force on Celebrating America's 250th Birthday. So this executive order talks about that task force. Donald Trump is the chair. There's a whole bunch of people on the cabinet that are involved as well. And it talks about this grandiose celebration. So then I was like, what else can I find on whitehouse.gov about this? And I found this landing page that I have never seen before. It has a countdown here. The United States of America countdown to America's 250th anniversary. It features pictures of him and Melania, blah, blah, blah. Scroll down with me, and you get to this memo, which reads, under the president's leadership, the Salute to America 250 Task Force, otherwise known as Task Force 250, has commenced the planning of a full year of festivities to officially launch on Memorial Day 2025 and continue through July 4th, 2026. The White House is engaging and encouraging the entire federal government, state and local governments, the private sector, nonprofit, and educational institutions, and every citizen across this country to join in this historical celebration. Task Force 250 invites citizens to have a renewed love of American history, experience the beauty of our country, and ignite a spirit of adventure and innovation that will raise our nation to new heights over the next 250 years. As part of these efforts, Task Force 250 is proud to present an original video series, The Story of America, and then it links you at the bottom to whatever, historical videos. I didn't watch them. They might be laced with propaganda. Who knows? Now remember, the first executive order I showed you tonight, the establishment of the Religious Liberty Commission, it ends on July 4th, 2026. But that's not the only thing that ends on July 4th, 2026. Remember this guy signed on the day of the inauguration, establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE, Elon Musk, the teenage boys, remember all that? This executive order also says the U.S. DOGE Service Temporary Organization shall terminate on July 4th, 2026. What if this is not a countdown to America's 250th anniversary, but rather a countdown or a timer for the Trump regime to try to initiate a brand new constitution? I personally cannot think of any other explanation, any other reason why you would terminate a commission that is in charge of making sure that religious freedom is everywhere, both in the public and private sector, like in educational spaces as well as nonprofits. Like, read that executive order, as well as why you would need to terminate a department that is in charge, apparently, of the spending of where our tax dollars go, how the federal government spends, who gets to work in the federal government, who doesn't. If you had a new constitution that made new constitutional laws about religion in public and private sectors, as well as how money is spent, what departments exist, who can be hired within the federal government, you would not need that religious commission or DOGE. And we currently aren't that far away from a constitutional convention, which would allow a new constitution essentially to be written. We need 34 state legislatures to say and agree to a constitutional convention, and we only have 6 to go. There are currently 4 major campaigns for an Article 5 convention, the Balanced Budget Amendment campaign, the Convention of States campaign, the Wolf Pack campaign, and the Term Limits campaign. While each has different goals, together they have already convinced 26 states to call for a constitutional convention. 6. They just need 6 more states to okay an Article 5 convention. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This might just be tinfoil hat time, or it might not.
What has happened in your life if you get to be 27 years old, the spokesperson for the most crooked administration ever, the person who's absolutely unwavering in her loyalty and her willingness to repeat lie after lie after lie after lie, a woman who's not stupid, a woman who's not stupid, a woman who has just really practiced at lying, a woman who is really committed to a cause that apparently includes capitulation and lying. And she's totally fine with that. She is willing to play this role, and she's proud of her duplicitousness. Duplicity. She's proud of it. This is like a triumph. She's like, oh my God, I am Kellyanne Conway, but at 27. Oh my God, I have arrived. It's really sad, and you have to wonder what has happened to this woman to think that that's what she has to do. What happens to you in childhood where you think you have to do that? Where you think you have to go along with somebody else's crooked rules, become a tool for the crooked dude in order to be successful in your own right. Because telling the truth, because being somebody who is smart enough to decipher the truth and to defend the truth is not in your wheelhouse? Is that what you think? She's a smart woman, but she doesn't think that she's smart enough to champion the right side of history? She just thinks, what, she'll go further on the wrong side of history? Or is it that she is so colossally screwed up that she thinks the wrong side is the right side? I don't believe that. Now, listen, I don't buy that, love is love at any age. I think 2760 is creepy. And that's how I'm going to feel. You're not going to change my mind. Okay? Sorry. So I'm looking at some issues there. I think there's already a little bit of some twisted power dynamics going on in there. And I think a woman who is willing to lie unabashedly and still expect people to think that she's somehow a successful woman, that she somehow deserves credentials, that she somehow deserves credibility. Like, sorry, Chiquita, not in our world, not in the world where, honesty matters. You can't just arrive at being successful by cheating. doesn't work. I mean, maybe it works in the cult, but, you know, this country presumably wasn't built on cult behavior. In fact, this country was presumably built on trying to get away from really awful influences. So good on you, 27-year-old, for championing the most awful influence. Yay! Aren't you just great? The truth is, she's a pretty screwed up person, and she probably has had no therapy for it, because had she had some therapy for it, she would have started to have a clearer view of herself. And if she was getting a clearer view of herself, I doubt she would like what she's seeing. Once you wake up and you realize that you're the bad guy, it isn't so fun, is it? Then you have to start that horrible journey of, you know, getting rid of all that bad that's been put in you, probably by other people, probably by traumatic means. You probably deserve a lot of compassion. You probably need a lot of help to get through that. And when you're using all of that awfulness that was given to you to hurt other people, it's really hard to have compassion. And when you get to be a grown-up, which, yes, at 27, you are a grown-up, not as grown as 60, but yes, at 27, you are a grown-up, you have to take responsibility for, you know, what your actions are doing to other people. I know you know you're lying, Kitty K. I know you know you're lying. I know you know you're lying. And how you go to bed at night thinking, well, you know, it's enough for the people who don't know that I'm lying to like me. That's totally enough for me. Yeah, I will be their spokesmodel. They will love me. I will have adoration from those people who will never fully get what I'm doing. That will be fine. But anyway, Kitty K, I hope you get the help you need. I hope you have the day you deserve. And I really hope that you make some effort at some point in your life to own up to the damage that you've done for all of these despicable men, and by doing their dirty work. And I really hope that you take some responsibility for the harm that you've caused to people by doing that.
My MAGA brainwashed mom wrote me a letter, and I just wanted to share it with you guys just because I'm one of the people that has not cut off all of my MAGA family. I love my mom very much, very deeply. She is, you know, she would take 1,000,000 bullets for me, so it's really hard. It's really hard seeing this happen, but I thought this letter gave a really good insight into how deep into it these people really are, and how sure they are that all of this going on is a good idea and that it's the right thing. I don't know, I just wanted to read it. I thought maybe somebody might take something from it. And it's actually not even addressed to me, it's addressed to my grandma and my aunt were kind of the left-leaning black sheep of the family. So it's addressed to, it's not specifically even to me, it's addressed to all of us. I want to preface this letter by stating that I love each of you. Yeah, she does, she really does. Understanding the current flow of communication is extremely difficult, especially utilizing mass communication methods. I am feeling increasingly alienated from my family, and it sucks. I believe what I believe, as do you all. I do understand that there are differing perspectives and opinions about people, systems, laws, reality, fairness, and so much more. The fact that we can allow each other some grace without judgment or aggression is being lost amid the torrent of emotion around the world. The discord occurring in our family and also globally will continue to be an issue if there's no latitude for conversation or allowances for differing opinion. I am and have always been the same person I am today. The fact that there is a large movement of people who can find no good in the changes that are being made in the US is disconcerting. She has not always been that way. She literally used to tell me to use the men's bathroom as a kid all the time. She never cared. She liked gay people. She didn't care. She hasn't always been this way, but she thinks that she's always been this way. The lack of any concession of any one item or multiple that has been or will be altered by this administration in a positive light causes great unease. Something in the world has to change. There are many complaints from the other side of things, but no real solutions. I don't agree with everything, but I can say that 95% of proposed changes are in direct alignment with my point of view. We are not on a good course, and as a legal U.S. citizen, I personally am tired of the aggression toward people like me for the lack of interest by a portion of the population that seems to want to continue to be stolen from, lied to, and pushed aside. She genuinely thinks that immigrants are to blame for why she's not a millionaire. Yeah. This statement has no bearing on any ethnicity, ability, or disability of personal choices by any other beings in the country. We cannot save the world. We should not want to be responsible We should not want to be responsible country to provide for others. There's typos. Sorry, she's not perfect. We have contributed financially to most countries' aid in the facilitation of economic growth and sustenance. Much of that money, it seems, has been abused by our government and the governments of those countries. She thinks that Doge is doing what they say that they're doing. She doesn't think that they're lying. We should be looking into this, and I am personally happy that there could be some accountability. Any monies spent that are provided to our government or others needs to be audited a frequent level. It's audited every year. She doesn't believe that. Obviously, they cannot be trusted to appropriately assign use of our hard-earned money at their discretion. I believe in a merit-based system. Everybody should be rewarded for hard work and desire to do more and be better no matter who you are, even if you're a felonious rapist, apparently. I believe everyone should have some personal accountability. I believe from personal experience in several instances through life that most people can and should be able to adapt lifestyles to be able to care for themselves. There are instances where people need help, and I am very okay with sharing in the responsibility to help care for those people. That shared responsibility has been abused, and we do have intelligent and capable people looking into areas that make people uncomfortable. She's talking about RFK Jr. Letting things continue to slide because they're uncomfortable isn't the answer. You may not like the person making the decisions, but overwhelmingly that is the choice of the majority. It's not. It's like 22% of the population. I didn't particularly care for the last one, and I had to just suffer through the decisions that were being made not on my behalf or the best interest of the country, in my opinion. You had to suffer through what exactly? Exactly nothing. That's why overwhelmingly a change in direction was made. It was made because of misinformation. We have limited financial, emergency, educational, and additional resources unless we continue to steal the funds from the working people. We cannot house people who aren't here to be productive. We don't have the ability to change our education system to let people catch up at the expense of our children. I don't even know what she, I don't even, okay. We do not have the medical resources to care for the people who have contributed to the prosperity of who have not contributed to the prosperity of our country and are being left by the wayside in place of millions of people who are here illegally. I have always paid my own way. She hasn't. She was on welfare when she was a teenager because she moved out when she was 16. Just saying. I understand that different people have different abilities and earning capabilities, and they should not be punished for the lack of ability. Everyone is not physically equal, emotionally equal, or intelligently equal. This has been the way of the world from the beginning of time. Life isn't fair. I don't believe that taking from someone who is honestly trying to provide and care for themselves, and hopefully the people in their community, should be financially punished for a group think of the betterment of the collective. We've changed language to suit the desired outcome, and it is not helping, and it is not for the best. I won't go on and on. I don't look at most of the social media for people. If I don't agree or don't like the comment statement, most times I just move on. Echo chamber. People who know you are family send me private messages wanting to try to understand what the heck is going on. Commenting on my posts is your right. They are not private opinions. You're entitled to your opinions, and I would hope that you would extend to me the same courtesy. I haven't messaged her or sent anyone to message her. I've had people message me also, calling me mentally ill and all kinds of other gross stuff. You are not required to comment. I am not sharing things that are untrue. She is, and I've pointed them out, and I have shown her proof that the things that she's sharing are untrue. She simply ignores it. They are just opinions and statements that you don't agree with. Nope, she has shared factually incorrect information. I have showed her corrected information. I've even showed her how she has taken snippets out of context, and then I posted the full context for her to see that it was purposely taken out of context. She doesn't care. She ignores it. I've seen no commenting on any of the things that people have proven untrue from the past 5 years. Enough said. I mean, I definitely have. I hope in the depths of your heart that there can be room for disagreement without consequence. Again, I love all of you. So that is a letter from one of Maga's strongest soldiers. Hope she snaps out of it.
Federal employee friends, Donald Trump's proposed budget for fiscal year 2026 is out. About 2 months behind schedule, but it's out nonetheless. Now, it was highly expected that there would be a pay freeze for federal employees in this budget, but the budget does not address federal employee pay. It does address military pay, and it gives them another 3.8% raise unless Congress changes that to something lower. but it doesn't address federal employee pay. Now, looking through the Senate and the House's proposed budget so far, those budgets don't address federal employee pay either. So you might be thinking, oh, the Federal Employee Pay Comparability Act will kick in and we will get a huge unicorn 30+% pay raise. That won't happen. How it's actually written, the best pay raise we could get for federal employees in 2026 would be a across the board 3.3% raise to the bases. And then depending on where you are, there's a mathematical formula to bring your pay in line with what it is around you, and it steps up per year. So like Washington, D.C., since a lot of you are in Washington, D.C., you would see a 3.3% pay raise plus another 4.2% for a total of 7.5% pay raise for federal employees around Washington, D.C. For the rest of U.S., it's that same 3.3% plus I think that was a flat 2%, doing the math real quick. So that gives you about a 5.3% pay raise. Now, it's unlikely that this will happen. The president has until the end of August to put forth an alternative pay plan that would still be budgeted in and wouldn't take from the agencies. And as we know in the past, they can always issue an executive order up until January 1st. And sometimes even Congress can issue pay raises or freezes retroactively beyond January 1st. So it's not saying a pay raise is guaranteed. I'm just saying that in the budget, in the presidential budget, and in the House and Senate budget, there's been no talk of federal employee pay. So if nothing happens, best case scenario, there will be some large pay raises this year, but that is highly unlikely.